Kristen Walter coming to you today talking to you about the difference between partial shares, full shares, and timeshares, the three things that we do see in Summit County that can be a little confusing, but I'm going to break it down for you here today. Stay tuned. Okay, before I get started, click the like button, click the subscribe button, go find me on other channels. I've got all kinds of places, all kinds of resources that you can find me on the internet before you come and work with me and my team up in the mountains of Colorado. Okay, so let me tell you what, guys, we've got a lot of this going on in our county. We get a lot of phone calls on our partial shares because you see the price and you think, oh my gosh, I can get an entire house for a fourth of the price. I found the deal of the century. No, it's a partial share. And we do have opportunities for timeshares, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that today. So what is a partial share exactly? So the title of this video is, the full, partial, and time. A full share is what you typically think of when you're buying a property. It's the whole house, the whole time. A partial share is the whole house for a part of the time. So for example, in Keystone River Run Village, you might see a condo that's worth, say, $800,000 listed for $200,000. That would be what we call a quarter share, meaning that you get to use that condo a quarter of the year. It doesn't mean necessarily that you have to use it for January, February, March. What it means typically is that you get to use it for 1 week out of every month. It's a quarter share. Important thing to know about this is that it is deeded. The way that it works is you are getting a deed, usually for part of the ownership of an LLC or a corporation. And you can work out the calendar with your co-owners. And so a lot of times what people will do is when their kids or grandkids get the school schedule and it shows who's got spring break at what day or who has off for Christmas or New Year's or whatever, then the owners will get together and they'll say, hey, my kid has spring break the first week of March. Can we trade that week so that we can come out the first week and you can come out the third week when your kids have? So there's some flexibility there with the calendar a lot of times because you are buying in to a property with veritable strangers. But that's part of the due diligence process. You can ask us to help you get in contact with the other owners. And obviously, we are allowed to ask for all the documents when it comes to the ownership, the corporation, and we even get to provide the calendar to you. So if you look at the calendar and you don't like the specific times that you get, so typically if you own a quarter share, you get the exact same week every month. So you might get the first week of the month or the second or the third or the fourth. The calendars are very detailed and so are the other documents. But just to give you an idea of how it works, it's a wonderful way to afford a property in our area at a fraction of the price for the actual amount that you're gonna come use it. So the other thing to know is that most partial shares do require all cash. It is an all cash purchase. There was a time that we had some lenders that would lend on them, but it's very difficult to do, as you can imagine, because you don't actually have complete ownership of the property for the lender to, basically place a lien on. So make sure you're coming with cash and ready to negotiate. That's definitely helpful and necessary on a partial ownership when it comes to financing. The other thing to know, I kind of touched on it, is most of these owners are fun and easy to work with. They have the exact same income or lifestyle as you do. They have the exact wants and desires. They're trying to be good with their money and they want to just come have fun, but they don't want to pay or they can't pay for a full ownership property. And like I said, most of them are super cool about trading weeks and working with the calendar and that kind of thing. If you're not going to use your week, sometimes within the owner agreement with your other co-owners, you're allowed to rent your week out and get some of that profit, that money back to you. So let's say, for example, once again, you got a condo in Keystone and you're not going to be able to come out for that week, but your group of owners has hired a property manager that rents the unit out when nobody is using it. So you can get a little bit of money coming in to help pay for that partial share when you're not using it sometimes. Again, it's all part of the owner agreement. It's all part of the partial ownership questions that you need to ask, that we need to figure out when we're finding one for you. The last piece on partial ownership is that a lot of our properties, I would say 95% of our properties in the county, come fully furnished, right down to the cutlery and the linens. So the bedspreads, the sheets, the towels, the dishes, the furniture, everything comes as part of this partial ownership. It's one of the things that you need to evaluate when you're looking at purchasing any property. If you're financing the property, we have to talk to you about how we cannot lend money on the furniture. But if you're paying all cash into a partial ownership, when we go and look at those places, we need to make sure that you're okay with the condition of all of those things, because that's going to be what you come home to when you come and ski, is you're going to be dealing with whatever furniture, linens, dishes are there. And again, it's going to be something that you need to ask how it's being taken care of. Who are the housekeepers? Who's the property manager? And that kind of thing. That's all I have on the partial shares, guys. That's all it is, really. You get a certain day, a certain time, a certain week out of every month. If it's a quarter share, if it's a half share, you can do the math. You get half the year. You get 2 weeks out of every month. I've seen 1/8 shares. I've seen 1/12 shares. As real estate agents, we can negotiate some of these deals. If we feel like it's out of our area of expertise, if we feel like for some reason the Division of Real Estate tells us that we can't sell them anymore, then we won't. And we'll refer you to a lawyer in the area. We've got a great group of attorneys in the area that can help with this kind of thing. The one thing that we don't do at the Mountain Dream Team is sell timeshares. Now, you know what a timeshare is. A lot of you guys have traveled with RCI or some of the other bigger companies where you're basically just buying a week with a timeshare company. In our area, the biggest timeshare seller is BRECKENRIDGE Grand Vacations. They've got a wonderful, wonderful properties. They're a huge developer in the area. They're about to build out a ton more properties, and you can go and buy a week or 2 or a month or whatever with them, and we're more than happy to send you to them or to whoever else in the area to do timeshares. But we don't do timeshares because it has nothing to do with exactly the property, the real estate. You're buying into a company that is promising you time to share in that place. And again, I do believe some of our timeshares in the area, if you don't want to come to Breck, you can trade it to go to Orlando or trade it to go somewhere else, just like RCI, just like the bigger places you've heard of. That's it. That's all I have for you today. Please drop a comment below. Let me know what questions that you have about this. I know it's kind of a weird topic to think about. I think partial shares are something that I had never seen before I moved to Summit County, but it is a great way to own real estate in our area. Remember to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and we will see you in the mountains. Bye for now.